Good morning or good
Greetings,
afternoon.
greetings.
Welcome to the Rose Garden. How are you, brother?
Yo, I'm good. I'm all the way in the what they call it, the the
In
east
the
side of
east.
the eastern hemisphere of the world. Out here in
Uh,
Japan presently,
what time is it there?
like three a.m.
3 a.m. So is this your sleepy, sexy voice? Like it's just me. It's just me and you in the Rose Garden. nobody, nobody wants to hear your sleepy, sexy voice, but we appreciate you for waking up to be with us. And I do miss you because I knew you were on the other side of the world, and I'm glad that you got there safely. For those of you who are new to us, my name is Sarita. I am the second half of this sibling duo, and that is my brother Xadian. And we meet each week in the Rose Garden to talk about all things that are relevant to us and to make this is our personal therapy, right, for ourselves. And a lot has been going on in our lives that we openly share with you all, and we're happy that you guys take this journey with us. So now y'all know that I'm missing my brother. He's all the way on the other side of the world, and so I gotta be careful of the time zone because I send you stuff all hours of the night. I mean,
Yeah, it's all good. I'm still plugged in. I've been dealing with my team and all that stuff too. So we got up a call. It was midnight my time here, but it
yeah.
was no, I'm saying it was 1 o'clock in the morning here, but it was noon, back in the East Coast of the U.S. So, still being productive.
You're making it happen. Have you enjoyed
Yeah.
like seeing
Oh,
seeing?
yeah, yeah. I've been to a lot of spots. I've been enjoying really the bonding time with me and Amir.
Yeah.
It's funny because that he he tapped me on my shoulder while we were somewhere. I can't remember. We were doing something, walking or whatever. But he tapped me on my shoulder like I was little. You know what I mean? You know how somebody like he kind of like tapped me on the shoulder with the back of his hand or so, and I felt like, damn, he, he did that like I was a little guy, but he definitely is. He tall now. We in
I
the
saw it
elevator.
in some pictures,
His
and he's
head is like all over everybody else's head. So I said, yeah, that's my boy.
yeah. So is he smiling a lot? Because when I'm around him, he has this very like not smiling face when I'm with him.
Nah, he having a good time, man. He talking, he smiling, he's engaging or whatever. I
So
think he
all it
really
took was to
enjoying
take him overseas, and then he'll talk to everybody. Now, note to self: I will figure that out
it.
to do it. So
Yeah, he's a very expensive child. But the stuff that he wants is very big.
well, keep dreaming.
Yeah, but he's always like that. He's always been like that. I remember when he wanted to go to the Bahamas. Like I actually took him and his older sister there, but we went because that was his desire for a spring break
Uh-huh.
vacay. You know what I mean? But he's always asking for these big things.
It seems like he's going to be global. He's not going to, his life is not going to be situated one place. He wants to experience everything, which probably in this climate, that's also dope.
Yeah, it is. I was thinking. I actually talked to him yesterday about pursuing like dual citizenship, right? Being as though I think he could be entitled to get like Korean citizenship based on his mother's heritage.
Hmm.
And we looked into it. I mean, actually, after I made that suggestion to him, he actually did look it up.
Did he?
And yeah, he did. And he said, but he said, I got to go to the military in Korea for 2 years. And he was like, man, I ain't trying to do that because they want to cut your hair. They want to shave your hair off, right?
Oh
So he
yeah,
said,
and
he said negative.
that's precious to him because I see his hair getting longer and longer. Like, is that something that's he just holding on to? What is that about?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But when I was looking at Kiko's son, he had really long dreads or whatever.
Yeah,
So I was thinking, maybe it's an in-state vision or goal that he has with it. So I'm gonna let him roll with it. We'll
gotcha.
see where it go. But honestly, you know, I had been thinking in my mind, well, what would happen? Just contingency stuff. So I was like, if a person ever had to exit away from the U.S. or whatnot, be good to have a base of operation already set up somewhere else.
Right,
So
right.
I thought it might be, since he's a big fan of Korea, I thought it might be a good, option for him to post up a base there.
Right, right.
But, you know,
What
like
is
I
it?
said, after we looked into it, he was like, nah, man,
Oh, we'll do it. What
yeah.
what's his reaction? Because like you guys are a biracial family. How are people reacting to you all in the East?
Oh man, it's the thing about from what I could see about people in the Asian culture and whatnot, they mind their own damn business. They don't be eyeballing you and doing all this stuff. They don't say
No eye
nothing. They quiet
contact.
about it. Nah, they ain't doing none of that. So, so nah, they don't even ask.
They don't.
But I would say like when I'm in the US though, when I used to be with with Tasia and Amir and whatnot, and we went anywhere with their that other side of their family, right? Let's just say I'd be the only melanated. Well, they melanated too. They colored people too. They consider right,
Right.
but I got more melanin or whatever. But I remember Amir's mom, her parents like to go to Korean spots, right? So
Right.
anytime we ever had went out with them or whatnot, we all went to Korean spots, and it was like they all walked in before I did. So the grandparents, then the kids, and then the mom, and then I walked in. And the hostess is always would say to me, "Sir, can I help you?" Like, you ain't with them. You feel me?
Right.
Then sometimes when I was with Tasia and Amir or whatever, like that could happen where they
Right.
wasn't
Right.
expecting me to be the
They
dad.
would
But
get
they forget that the melanated man can make every single color,
right.
on this planet. So
Right.
it's fun. But nah, here it ain't that way.
Well, I
Honestly,
think that's a breath of fresh air because,
mhm.
this lived experience here in our country is like race is so front and center. And especially now, something came across my Instagram feed yesterday, like a place in Missouri or is doing like an all white community. And I just thought,
Wow, that's great.
right, and they're doing it and talking about it, like having a whole press conference and thinking it's like the normal thing to do when the history of this country has been um, one that, right, the
They've
integration.
been trying to do that, right? Like set up these colonized communities where it's all this quote unquote American white, where that's brand new race and term, to be honest.
Right, right.
But here though, it's the other funny thing is, I go to certain places. So I wanted to go to like a nail salon, right? To get my fingernail and toenails cut, whatever, because they were all broken off and everything. So I went to two spots here, and one, um, when I went in there, it was at the proprietor, I guess, whoever it was that was in there. She was in there by herself, right?
Uh-huh.
But she was trying to say I had to come back at like 5 p.m. This was like 10 a.m.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, nah, but what I noticed was that she was playing uh, hip hop rap music in there
Right.
in the nail salon, yeah.
Wow.
Then we went, Amir likes to get these like cheeseburgers, whatever. So we went to a whole nother spot in a whole nother area because we staying in this place called Shinjuku,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
In Tokyo. But we went to this other area called Shibuya, and
Uh-huh.
then there's another one start with an H, like Junku or something like that.
Okay.
But anyway, when we get to this other place, we went to get a burger or whatnot. We go in the burger spot. It's all Japanese people working there, but Asian people. I don't know if they all Japanese, be real, but they Asian. And but in there, the music that they was playing was Machiavelli Tupac, the album, like that
Wow.
double album he released. Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole album, the raw shit too. Like,
Well,
it's
doesn't
talk about
that shows
nigga,
you
this and that,
shows
all
you
that. It was
that
raw,
shows you the influence of like black culture and but yet it's like, they always say they want our rhythm but not our blues. And I think it's meaningful to go different places to see how we're represented and how they represent us because like
Yeah,
I
that's
love that
true.
they like our music, but how did
Yeah,
you
it's everywhere, yo. It's everywhere. But I think it's exotic to them because like I said, they playing the explicit version in
right,
like a family restaurant, you know what I
right,
mean? So I was thinking like, they probably don't understand the actual words. But then another thing is, before I came here, they were trying to say that everybody in Japan speaks English and all of that, and that's cat because
That's not
everywhere I went, nah. So like we using Google Maps to get around,
right,
and
right.
Google Maps is crazy because it gets you to the vicinity, but not
Not exact.
exactly there, right? So we lost, like we get into the area, but then we're like, damn, where the hell is this at? Whatnot. So we gotta ask people or whatnot.
Right.
And we discovering, man, ain't nobody
You don't
speak
know English.
nobody speak no English, man. These people speak straight Japanese. And you got the second salon we went to, because that first one, since they wasn't, trying to take no uh,
Walk-ins.
clients walk-ins right then and there. The second one we go to, they had a sign on the door that said, can't service you if you don't speak Japanese, you know what I mean?
Well, that's actually, that again, it's like from American culture, we like center ourselves, especially like the white ideology. They're
Yeah,
centered in
yeah.
every discussion, so they want you to believe that English is spoken everywhere, and why should it be in countries? And so, why shouldn't we honor people with our language? But I got to say something that's been on my heart and mind since you started this discussion, and I'm saying it as lovingly as possible. Brother, I taught you better than that to go out of the country and make these people who don't know no Negroes cut your dirty, funky toes. I need you to go and get your all cleaned up. If you're gonna be their first introduction, don't let them see your toes and your hands. You need to do better. And I know I taught you better than that. So you gonna go over
Well, I don't mind. You
there. No,
know what I mean? I let people
you don't
say
even
because
speak
these
the
people they probably they not saying that they living hard and nothing like that. But I would say that it, what I notice about these different countries or whatnot that don't have a lot of white people or black people, especially the new term white and black,
right,
coming
right.
to U.S. They don't have a lot of those. So here, all of the primary workers are Asian.
Uh-huh.
So they're doing everything, from cleaning the rooms to working the front desk to working at the restaurant. So it's like a whole city,
Right,
people that it's cool though to see that because I
right.
just look at to me I see that all of the cities they function the same no matter where you are in the world. They all pretty much the same, right?
Yeah.
And it's just the people. But I noticed that the subculture element are Africans. Like like I guess what you would say, they the criminal element that works with the Japanese yakuza. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Yeah, they like the henchmen for them.
Oh, really? So
But
you saw some Africans.
yeah, some Africans, not like American blacks, but just Africans. So it was funny
That's
because
interesting.
me and Amir was outside this restaurant, and we standing next to each other, but we side by side pretty much. But I think I was a little bit in front of him, but we standing on a corner. And this uh African dude, he passes by us. Now at that time, I think only us three were the only black people in this vicinity.
Right.
So he noticed us. So he comes up and he gives me dap and he gives Amir a dap. And then he tried to be like, hey, come with me to my bar. And I was like, nah, man, we ain't go to no bar. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I guess he don't realize Amir is a kid,
As a
man.
kid, yeah, especially how
But
tall he is and all that. Yeah.
yeah, but I was like, man, this could be some P. Diddy weirdo stuff or something, man. He talking about trying to go to some bar, you know what I mean? Just
That's where your mind
met
went.
the dude, just met the dude with gave him some dap, but he talking about come to this bar and stuff. You know what I mean? And then when you walking down the street, these other, I guess I don't know, the people trying to say they Nigerian,
Uh,
but they might not be.
they
You know
might
what I
not. They
mean?
just
I
got
just know
real
they
tall
African.
Africans. Yeah.
Yeah, but I could tell that that there's a difference because there's some that speak French and you
Yeah.
can hear the Africans speaking French,
Yeah.
and there's some that speaking like the broken English or whatever else.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they be trying to come up to you and solicit stuff. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, these dudes is they making the melanated world look bad.
You know, don't bring your American suspicion. They could be legitimately a part of society. I don't know.
Nah, man, I hear they solicited like black market commodities or
Right.
whatnot. So
Right.
you
Well,
already know.
you know enough to know
Yeah.
where you belong. So you just stay out of it. You
Yeah, I'm
it's
like, man, what they make? Why they choosing me to come up to rap to me about this stuff? I was like, it's because
you got
I'm
the
not
eyes.
looking proper. I'm not
You
looking
got the eyes.
proper.
You understand? You got those eyes, US. Hey, it's
Yeah.
interesting because we something happened to me like similar to not different like it's not like all exotic like your story, but
Hmm.
someone one thing for sure, people is looking at our podcast and looking at the stuff we're doing because someone called the office
Hmm.
earlier this week, and my admin told me that the person was like, she knew the person didn't know me because she called me Soretta, right?
Okay, okay, I got
So that's like I want everybody to call me Soretta forever and ever and ever. So that's my
you.
code word for saying that y'all don't know me for real. And so
Exactly.
that was kind of like her evidence too. And so, but the person was so like convincing, like I know Soretta can do this and Soretta can do that. And then they were like, and I gotta talk to her. Well, my admin buffers me a lot of the time. And so she's like, if she's not available, I'll take a message and everything. And then she took this long message and sent me this email because we're kind of remote. And she said, like, the person really believes you can help them. And they saw you and they said that you're the person that can help. And I'm like, I don't even know these people. They weren't no previous clients of mine. Like, I don't have no responsibility to call you back. And then you're gonna call me like we friends, like Soretta. Like,
Nah, I feel you on that. Yeah,
don't
yeah,
get
yeah.
so personal. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
but it's interesting because I know something similar happened to you where like they saw you on the podcast and then there was like this romantic reflection. And there's been two people I've ever met in my life that have this paramour romantic delusion that happened, and you're one of them, where someone has
That's crazy.
created, it's called something. And now since I brought it up, I got to look it up real quick. But tell the
Mhm.
people about, all you got to do is open your eyes and you look at little baby eyes. Like, you
Nah,
got
honestly, I don't. I
all
feel like this, like the whole thing about this stuff right here is that we making private stuff public and
yeah,
personal stuff public.
yeah,
But I honestly believe that people take it seriously, and in our format, I think it's more it's more reasonable to take the content here serious.
right.
But some of the stuff is I would think people shouldn't take it as serious. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like for instance, somebody's status in terms of they marital or single or something,
right,
right?
right, right,
Because if you know me, you already know the answer to this, right?
right,
And particularly if you was uh, a significant other to me, for
right,
instance. The
right.
people who are connected with me that are special to me, they know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The people, but if I think some people they like you said they get some sort of I don't know the new look. It's happened to me before where
twice,
somebody
right?
found
Like
my address or something and
two
you know
times, right? Like two
yeah,
times.
yeah, two times. So I feel like
It's
I
called,
don't know why it happens, to be honest with you, because
I think it's the eyes. I'm convinced it's the eyes too. I'm going with Karina. It's the eyes. And it's called,
I mean, what?
y'all just need to walk around with your eyes closed. It's called the erotomania. It's a rare
Erotomania.
psychiatric condition where a person holds a delusional belief that the other person, often someone famous or of high stature, boy, and listen, this was before the podcast that most of this happened to you,
Mhm.
that they believe that that person is in love with them. This belief
Mm.
persists despite evidence of the contrary. And in your situation, you hadn't even met the people.
No, no doubt. That's
um,
crazy.
and that it can get very dangerous. It's a significant health risk.
Hmm.
And so you have to be careful. So I bring, not that I've ever had no erotomania happen to me, but definitely some other mania is occurring as we are, like you said, putting our very personal aspects of our life out. And I think people are connecting with that, which is good. But folks need to know, like, we not your friends. And I'm in this space.
Well,
Like,
like I said, man, if somebody's significant to you, they know it, right?
right,
Because
right.
like they put it this way. I don't think Kiko or Wes or somebody, you don't have to ask them questions or whatever they need to know about me. They don't need to find out on a podcast.
Right, right.
They got a direct connection to me that they can find out on. And
Right.
also, I feel like again, it's like in this hour that we spending on here, you know, I don't know if we could wave the banner of somebody else, because I was thinking, you definitely, because you are part of a marital unit, you always are representing, you know, that that how would I put it? That two-pronged entity, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But for me, I've been you know, a solo captive for so long. You feel me? Representing some other thing ain't appropriate at this moment because I do believe that a person, and also particularly based on my experiences too, that they got to prove themselves to be, bona fide in my eyes. You know what I mean?
So
So
you're
that
talking
ain't gonna
about
be so
different
that ain't
relate.
gonna be an easy thing. Like, a person, even right now, if it's uh, you know, an establishing connection, I ain't gonna be representing that until I know it's something sincere and serious. You feel me? Because
Well,
you already know personally uh my recent experiences or whatnot, you know, and
well,
I
let's
feel like in my
well,
recent experiences I was sincere,
wait.
you
Well,
know.
you were sincere, but
Yeah,
let's for the
yeah.
just for the people so they know a little bit more about you. Now, see, here you go. You wearing all black. You want to be all sensitive today, and you're black. Uh, I have always struggled with you because when you start a relationship, your modus operandi is to always say they're my friends and they're working to be um in my relationship sphere and they got to prove and all this. But then I'm like, it don't take long where these people don't go nowhere. I see them and I'm like, so what work are you looking for? So I am seriously curious. What would it take? What are you looking for when these people come in your life? Because what I
It's
find,
just the same thing as anybody else. I
like,
feel like these things, like, it's the Bible says
oh Lord,
there's
he
nothing
walked
new under there's nothing new under the sun,
it. Okay.
right? Now, if a person gonna believe that, which I do believe, then that means that we all have the same type of experiences, right? So
Okay.
you, in your story, you say, the funny thing is, I connect, I think I have more of a God's eye view into your romantic story with your current husband. You know
How
what I'm
you
saying?
know? A God's eye view.
Yeah, God's eye view based off of the what you was putting down in that journal or whatnot,
Oh, because
which
you
your husband
valid.
probably did. Your husband probably even didn't get the benefit of noticing that stuff. But I'm trying to say is your words will say that, well, when I met him or whatever, it wasn't like that. It was a path of some sort of progression,
Okay.
which I believe it was, but you was already kind of evaluating him from the perspective of connecting deeply with him.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say to you is, yeah, there's a path of progression, obviously, with people, because the thing is validating the concept, right? So when you said, well, I heard his voice and I knew that that was my husband or whatever,
Right.
that could be a sense of intuition, but then you had to get that validated by getting to know him better, seeing that he's family oriented, seeing that he's worthy enough. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's the same process that I work through too, but I ultimately start seeing, it's I see that, oh no, these jokers ain't worthy.
Well, let's make it even
Because
more.
some,
I've never.
yeah.
Okay, I will say this:
Hmm.
your people. I could almost write a story about. Okay, I first of all, I'm going to validate one part of your experience, which is there's a progression. but I do
Hmm.
believe you have a type, and that type.
What do you mean by type?
I think you have a type. Like I've
Well,
never.
what's a type though? Like, is a type? I think the type, when you say a type, is it a type physically appearance type, or a type in terms of personality and
Oh, good
character
question.
type? Which
Could
one?
I
Which
say
one you
both?
talking about?
Could I say both? I'm going to say both because I have never seen you, and I'm talking about, I'm going back into the decades. I'm going to go to high school so I don't shame none of your current people. But even in
Right, right.
high school, I never saw you date somebody high, 5'5", one bigger than 125. You know, like you had a type. There was certainly a type,
No,
physically.
I think so. I would say that you know, yeah, I'll put it this way. I would agree with you. Like, I'm gonna do this with you today.
Okay.
I'm gonna be agreeable in the sense of, I ain't gonna defend nothing. I'm gonna ride this wave of
Agreement.
validating what you're saying. So look,
Okay.
yeah, everybody got a type, including me. There's
Okay.
certain things that I'm gonna look at and say, like, yeah, that's attractive. You know,
Okay.
if
Okay.
you 5'5" and 300 pounds, you ain't gonna be attractive to me. I ain't gonna be able to see that. You know what I
Why?
mean? But I
But
might be, not physically, but I would be able to see, that person got a nice character. That person, they hardworking. That person got, I would see some decent quality, but I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna say I could, there's some physical attraction there
okay. So could
for
that
sure.
could that attraction develop?
It's possible. It's definitely possible, because I think that, if I was always asking myself, what is the moment when, it clicks for me, that a person is all of a sudden significant, you know?
Right.
Yeah, but I realized that that happens through a catalyzing event. I remember you said some one time that you was in college, and you was trying to get your wardrobe, and there was some reason why that wasn't happening. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it
You
was.
had some emotional feelings about that.
It
And
was.
go ahead. What was you
Well, I
gonna
mean, I'll tell the story. So this
say?
was when during a period where we had me and my mom had that disruption because we didn't always have a good relationship. And
Mhm.
you were in Jersey, you were in college. Our other sister was, off, and I had called because it had been really hot in, but it was winter, but we had one of
Mhm.
those those hot winter days, and so I'm walking around campus in like a sweatshirt and some blue jeans, and like it's winter, and everybody else had their summer clothes, but when you live in college, your room is small, like you. So I had
Mhm.
sent my summer clothes home, and so I had asked mom to bring me clothes, and she didn't. Her reaction was one of rejection. And she might rethink it now, but at the time period, I wasn't prioritized. So my mouth, after I finished giving her the blessing of all blessings, and I'm sure we got in a fight, and I'm sure I
Mhm.
called grandma and told on her. I was crying on my apartment on the steps of my dorm, and my husband comes by with two shirts. So the good news is we live like 50 yards from each other, so we were stalking each other, like when he came
Right,
in
right,
and
right.
out, I was knew when he came in and out, and when I came in and out, he knew when I came out. So he must have been listening to my distress, all in my distress business. And at that point, we were not dating, we were just friends, air quote. And he brought me two shirts, and I would say that's when I like, that was a part of like where I'm like, oh, I like him, he's like,
But in addition to the fact that he was letting you get on his meal card, eat
oh
off the meal card. Hey, I was like, you know, this hypergamy of females. She's like, well, this man can take care of me, he can provide for me.
the meal
I need to
card
get
came later. I was the girl who was feeding me, and at minimum, I deserved some food. Like, you ain't gonna feed me. Like, that's what he had to offer back
well,
then, was a
well,
little Turk card. You know what I mean?
well, I mean, he was giving some of his value up, ahead of time in advance, But I appreciate you sharing that story, because I think, like, it does take these catalyzing events.
It
And to
does.
me, I would say there's something that that is the common ground that connects two people in.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you meeting somebody, you kind of feeling for the edges, to see what that is. You know what I mean? And
Right.
then there's a point where you're like, I guess you make the choice, and then that's when the emotions get activated. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
When you turn in your head.
But
Let's flip this on a bigger kind of cadence then, because
mhm,
you're saying
mhm,
physically that's initially how it is. All right, let's take
mhm,
this example because there's some things that people may not know about you. And I had a
mhm.
great experience this like all these like real things are connecting. Um I
Right,
had
right.
I was attending an event, and in the event I met this woman who I knew right away that she had low vision.
Mhm,
And I knew the low vision happened at night because
mhm,
she didn't have, I think well, how I knew she had low vision was one, I saw how she was moving, but then
mhm,
when the lights got dimmer during the night, she started using her cane, like a,
mhm,
the sight cane. It's not called a cane. I think it's called something else, the whatever adaptive device. So
mhm.
I went up to her and I said, I introduced myself. I didn't know who she was. And I just said, I recognize your cane. And I said, do you have low vision? And how can I help you? And so, because actually at the event, I was like supposed to be like a hostess taking people their seat. So anyway, long story short, she said that she had RP. And I said, you're not going to believe this, but my brother has
Mhm.
RP. And she like was like, really? And she's like, I don't, very few people, because she was about to educate me, all y'all people that
Right,
have
right,
some
right,
kind of hidden,
right, right, right.
specialty. They're like, oh, because RP is blah blah blah. And I was like, no, sis, I know exactly what it is because my brother has RP. And I said, you are the first other person I've ever met with it. Like I've met people with like macular degeneration. I'm a part of the Foundation for Fighting Blindness. So I get all their research. I attend their events. I donate to them. So I am around a lot of people who have visually impaired kind of experiences, but RP is super rare. And I've never had the opportunity to meet somebody new, but I met her, and we got to, I mean, I literally, this was like a 30-minute interaction where I started talking to her about her experience. And I said, one of the things that my brother um talks about all the time is the devices that are used, because RP, maybe we should educate people about RP. It's what is it called?
Retinitis pigmentosa.
I
But
know.
really, retinitis pigmentosa is the RP is kind of like a generic diagnosis. It's what they call any sort of eye condition that involves the retina
Hmm.
that 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 is kind of unexplainable in terms of genetic disorder.
Disorders,
So,
yes.
like, say for instance, like for mine, it's the protein that in the process of you actually seeing, they call it phototransduction, which is
Hmm.
when the brain converts light into electrical signals,
Hmm.
right? So,
Hmm.
like when basically the whole process of seeing,
Hmm.
it produces waste just like any other process, right?
Right.
And the waste usually is dispelled through this protein that just basically disposes of it.
Mhm.
But that protein in my eye doesn't work.
Mm,
So literally, like the process of seeing deteriorates the retina in my eyes.
right, right, and it's
And
degenerative, it's progressive, it happens over time.
yeah, yeah.
When we found out
Hmm.
about it, you were pretty young, and I do know, folks, what RP means. I just forgot in this moment, 'cause it's sometimes really
Hmm.
hard when you are talking, but,
Hmm.
it was even as we just were discovering it for you, it was like we were all learning about it. I remember they were asking if there was genetic connections, and so I like how you explain that it's a class of disorders, not just one thing, and it may look different. But
Right.
one of the meaningful things about what came out of that conversation with that lady was that she too didn't like the apparatuses that they use to support themselves, or people with RPs use to support themselves in the environment. And it took us down this discussion of like, there's a lot of invisible disabilities that most people don't even think about. And the idea of really like developing techniques and strategies that support these people, we need to keep those people in mind, and not just like the functional part of using a stick, because she used the stick, but even in that,
Yeah,
it's
it's
other
other
things.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many people were in that event, and we were could have
Mhm.
knocked each other over. And I'm getting to a point to circle back to the romantic part, but this part is just so good that I like to talk about it. But um I had
No, but
mentioned,
it happens. I mean, I agree with you because
yeah, yeah, it
even
happened.
on the flight here,
Uh-huh.
from the US to Tokyo, yeah,
Yeah,
that was, I think it was one flight. I was shit. There's so much going on. I can't remember if
or everything.
it was one flight or it was two. Yeah, but but anyway, when I get up on that flight, I'm in first class, right? So it's little pod seat and shit. But the flight attendant comes up to me and she goes, "Look, it basically the records say that you got a you got a visual impairment, but you don't look like it." So
Hmm.
she's basically trying to say like, yeah, it's wrong. The records are wrong
Right, right,
because I got everything like set up in this little pod, like the laptop and all that stuff. I'm doing shit.
right.
And then when she called my name, I'm looking at her and stuff. So she's looking at me and she's like, "Yeah, it says you got a visual impairment." But I see how, you looking at me doing this thing, you're like, you don't. And I was like,
Yeah.
nah,
You
that's
don't
not
know,
that. I was like,
understand it.
that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And you
do
saw
have it.
she minimized
Yeah.
it, like, she minimized it and to
Mhm.
match her own world. And I
Right, right.
and even at this event, the stick wasn't enough, right? Because it
Mhm.
was so many of us bunched around. So,
Right, right, right.
so as the super hostess that I was, I like gave her a path, and I'm familiar with it because I naturally do this with you. Like, I grabbed her arm and I kind of walk her
Mhm.
around. I was calling out what was ahead of her, like there's this here to your left, to your right. So I'm familiar with it because of your experience, but many people don't understand it. And even still with that, there was some slight bumping and things like that. And she talked about it. I said my brother does it really, really good. Like, once he bumps into you, he's like, "How you doing, brother?" Like, "What's going on, man? Excuse me." And I
No,
said,
I don't really be have it. I don't see myself on doing that
"You
thing.
do
But
it. You're not
I
like
feel
over
like
the
this right here.
computer, but
Yeah,
you
'cause I would say like, here, for example, you know, um, you walking around, it's a lot of people and everything. I think what happens, with this RP thing, like the traditional stuff is like the night blindness,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then it also causes, it affects your field of view.
yeah,
So where your field of view might be wide, like normally, it narrows it down to where they call it like tunnel vision.
hmm,
But
hmm,
but to me, it's not like all, mine is not extreme. It's not like a real super aggressive or extreme
yeah,
version of it.
yeah,
So I don't really have like like the tunnel vision, but
hmm,
my field of vision is definitely impacted,
narrow,
impaired. So I would say, like, for instance, if I'm walking with a mirror down, down the sidewalk, for example,
yeah,
I like him to walk in front of me, right? So I could see him.
yeah,
And you know, it's just easier for me that way.
to
But
follow.
when he's walking in front, well, it's for a number of reasons, but I feel like I would prefer him to be in front of me because I could see everything that's going on with him.
Hmm,
And
hmm.
if somebody's going to do something to him or whatever, all this out, I can see it clearly.
Gotcha.
But I prefer that instead of him being behind me or beside me or whatever.
Hmm.
But there's like there's like a gap between us when we're walking. You know what I mean? And I noticed that people always trying to here, not in the U.S., but here, like people are sliding in between that gap between us because, like you said, they probably don't realize we together. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So what happens is like, and it pisses me off too because it's like the gap is not really that big between us.
right.
So when they cut that gap, it's like I'm almost stepping. I have to like pause a little because I would almost step on
Step
them
on
every
'em.
time. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I started getting to the point where I'm like, man, fuck this shit. Then like anybody that cuts this gap, you know what I mean? Like this, I'm gonna just burrow through them, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So I started doing that, like making that adjustment because I'm
Right.
like, man, I don't understand why they trying to cut between
No,
us like that. Like
no
why that
spatial
would
control.
happen,
Right. People
huh?
don't people no spatial control. I'm with you, brother.
No, they not, man. They
No,
not courteous.
not courteous at all. So
Yeah, and
so when you bust through them, what do they do?
but then I think what that does is makes the other people around not try to do it. You know what I mean? Because I see like it'll happen a lot,
Right.
especially if we trying to do like public transportation. Like
Yeah.
we catching like a train or something,
Right.
and like we cutting through that station and everything. Like all these people trying to like slide up underneath and the in between and all this stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking like, man, these people crazy, man. Like you see me like in a single file line. Wait till this two people line passes you,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, and you don't have to, but they trying to like just cut through. So I'll just be burrowing through now. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Very
And
discouraging.
but
Very
yeah,
discouraging.
very discouraged. But I guess what I'm thinking in my mind, I was trying to get into the head of somebody what they're doing, and I'm thinking like, well, they see a slight gap between us, so they must be thinking in their head, well, he sees that I'm about to try to cut between them, so I'm gonna do that, and he's gonna yield to me
Right.
because he sees that I'm trying to. But the truth is that I'm seeing them when they cutting that gap. I don't
Yeah.
see them. I don't see them.
Coming.
I don't see them coming. I just see it when they cut the gap.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm able, to like react to it,
But you can't
but
anticipate
but
it.
I don't see it coming. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that makes me, yeah, like I say, it irritates me. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because
That's
it,
that invisible part. And a lot of
yeah, it is.
look
Mhm,
at how many things can happen because of the
mhm,
assumptions we're making about everybody. But I'm going to
yeah.
bring this full circle because not that I had this conversation with this woman, but I'm having it with you. So you said, you know, 5'5", what was it, 125 or whatever is your,
Right, right, right.
but we recognizing that you got sometimes low vision, right? And definitely
Mhm, mhm.
peripheral. So what if I kept the chick outside your visual sphere and all you had was, to build a relationship with her, to connect to her, and then the establishment of love had been established. What happens when I put her in your visual sphere and she's your non-traditional physical appearance?
Well, here's another secret, right? Which I think is invisible as well, right? Is
Okay.
that honestly, in terms of the uh the quality, like I got very rich vision and whatnot, but I can definitely admit that my vision is not HD vision.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Okay.
like if I actually see a girl and you see her, you
Uh-huh.
might see the flaws and blemishes in her. Like,
Yeah.
she got
Yeah.
a freckles on her face or she got these things. Those things I wouldn't be able to see though. You know what
Ah,
I mean? So
okay.
like truth be told, in a very real sense, what I see more than physical is a person's character,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
like what their heart's radiating. And
Okay.
that's the thing that's most attractive to me
Okay.
initially. You know what I
Okay.
mean? But also I guess, like you say, there's so many different factors to stuff because like if I'm hunting for it, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I'm hunting based off of virtue, you
Okay.
know.
Okay.
But if it's falling in my lap, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if it's falling in my lap, then I'm evaluating it based off of what's acceptable, to the physical attraction.
Well,
And I would say like,
I can put them on your lap? How big can we go?
how I would say, well, you gotta be able to be comfortable on the lap. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, look, I'm gonna tell you though, like I would say that I'm a very touchy feely person because of that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a lot comes. So to me, most of the time they say like men are visual creatures, which is true. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So to whatever amount of quality of vision that I have, yeah, it definitely got to be appealing to me. But that part might not be as important to the way a person sounds, the way they smell, the way they feel. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean?
So you're integrating
Yeah,
all the senses.
yeah, I integrate all the senses. So like if I you know, there could be some things where like a girl touches my hand and her hands are rough, like she got gorilla paws or something. And I'm here feel her hand. I can't deal with that because I don't want to be touching no rough hands. You know what I'm saying? So when I touch her hands, it got to be feeling like a girl. Soft, nice, taken care of. You feel me? And
Okay.
then when I hear, sometimes I've heard a girl's voice and I'm like, damn, she's attractive in all her ways, but she got an ugly voice.
Ugly
You know what
sound.
I'm saying?
Ugly
The
sound.
ugly sounding voice, and I'm like, it's not appealing to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then sometimes it could be some joints when I'll be like, man, the girl, her hands feel nice, her skin feels soft. You know what I mean? She got a beautiful sounding voice, but damn, she musty. You know what I mean?
You know what?
You know what I mean? She musty.
You have just taken us through a sensory experience through dating. That everybody uses their sensories for dating, but I think perhaps, which is because people have relied so heavily on what they can see, which I'm here to tell you that's like your eyes are the most deceptive part of your senses. It's like
100%.
probably rely on
100%.
the least, but I love that you're going through these sensory explorations. So, and now you just gave everybody the pathway. They need to be soft, smell good, have
But this I've been discriminated on too. Like a homeboy Rocky from big ups on too, by the way. But from back in Fox Chapel days or whatever,
right?
he had a friend that's a girl,
Uh-huh.
and she had a friend, and me and him we linked up with them both or whatever, and he was actually trying to introduce me to the girl, or whatnot.
Right.
So she was alright. You feel me? She was alright.
You could see, but
But in terms of the character that she's radiating off, my filter on that was picking up disturbance. You feel me? So anyway, I thought, I don't know, I'm not so sure about this girl's character, but it got validated when we went and did something on a one-on-one.
okay.
He, again, I think like what a man wants to do in a situation like this is do the traditional stuff a man does, pick a spot for us to link up at, make sure that we both are able to get there safely and get back safely or whatever, so control the certain aspects of it to ensure that it's a good time, you know what I mean,
Okay.
and a safe time. So I did this, but I actually went around her way, which was a good distance from me. She was in Maryland, I was in VA, right?
Okay.
So I go around her way, and I was concerned about it, right? Because it was going to be nighttime pretty much throughout this whole connection. This little experience. Well, I guess you could call it a date, right?
Okay. Okay.
So throughout this journey, I knew it was going to be nighttime. So I was like, you know what? Um, I don't know exactly where she lives at. I ain't familiar with the area, all this stuff. I said, you know what? To ensure that we both safe, I'm gonna get a chauffeur. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
somebody to drive my vehicle, whatever, scoop her up and pick her up and drop her off. I'll make sure that I got a chauffeur so that it ensure both of our safety or whatever. So I did that or whatever, right?
Okay.
So I go pick up my chauffeur for the night, you know what I'm saying, and one of my whips. And then he when I pick him up, he take over the driving or whatever. We get to where we going. And I had picked a spot too. It was a restaurant or whatever. And it was one I wasn't familiar with. So I had never been there before.
Right.
So as the universe would have it, right? Somebody called me this term called meet cute or something like this. I ain't never heard that shit before.
Okay.
But basically it's like the when two people get together, like the uh the fumbling that happens, but
Okay.
it's supposed to be this fumbling that happens usually, people look at it as adorable or cute or something like that.
Okay.
So here it is. I pick a spot. It's the darkest the darkest restaurant in the world, yo. I mean, going into the parking lot, it was super dark. Then we get inside, it was so damn dark. I couldn't even see the hostess joint. It was just like because usually I could see like wherever there's light, I could see even in
Pick it
in the
up.
dark. But this joint was
Did
so
she know
dark, I couldn't
you
see
had a visual?
nothing.
Did she know that you
No,
had?
she didn't know. She
Oh,
didn't know. But she discriminated on me on this, right? So when I go into the spot, like a couple of things happened that never happened to me before. Like I go in there, I couldn't see the hostess desk, whatever they call the people that
okay.
take you to the table.
Right.
I could just hear voices. I just heard them. So that's where I was like, oh shit. Like
Right.
I knew I was in trouble. so so then, when the hostess to start walk, so I was supposed to pick her up, but I guess like my timeline was running a little bit behind. So I decided to go to the spot first because I wanted to make sure. So she was gonna meet me at the spot.
Okay.
And so I get to the spot and the people take me to the table, and they tell me to follow them. And I started following them and I couldn't find them because it was like amazing that joint. And they was moving fast
Okay.
and I got lost. You know what I mean? So then somebody came in. So then I told my driver, I was like, come on in here real quick.
Help me.
Help
Help
me get set up, right? So homeboy, and he didn't know neither, really, the extent
me.
of the
Right.
stuff. So
Right.
so we get in there, and when he helping me to get set up at the table and shit, she come. So like it wasn't supposed to happen like that, It's just everything's fumbling,
Right.
you know.
Right. So
So
what did
so
you do to
he's
discriminate?
so he's sitting at the table across from me, right? Because he was supposed to like we supposed to get set up at the table, and he's supposed to go out and just wait on me. You know what I'm saying? But when she came, he's sitting at the table, so I'm like, damn. And so she's like, I'm here. Like I
Uh-huh.
said, it's shit is
You can't
dark as
see anything.
hell in there.
You're scaring her.
So I just knew where the front door was. So I stood up so she could see me.
Right. Right.
Because I was like, I'm at the table already. I stood up. So she said, okay, I see you.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just looking at where the door is, but I honestly can't see nothing from from where I'm at to the door. I see like a little light at
Okay.
the door, but in between it, I see nothing at all. No
Right.
tables, no nothing, no wall, nothing. So she comes up, and she was standing in front. So the driver is still sitting at the table, and he sees her come up, and he don't say nothing to me because I guess he don't know,
What's
so
going
something's going on. So she's standing in front of me for like a good 30 to 40 seconds, and
Okay.
I'm just looking like over her.
Okay.
And then she goes, "Hi." So when she spoke, then it was like, kind of like sonar.
Right.
It's
Right.
like then I knew exactly where she was at, whatever. So then I reached out to her, like you said, and hugged her, and then I told her, "Come on, sit down, whatever."
Right.
So she sat down on my side, and then she's looking at me like, who's this dude? You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, this is my driver, whatever. She's like, okay, yeah, driver, he gonna stay with us? I'm like, nah, he bought dips. So I'm kicking the nigga on the table, like, come on, nigga, like, go ahead, go now. So he go. So long story short, we had a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, her after he dipped or whatever, we got to talk and drinking a little bit, all that. We had a good time.
Did you ever
Then
tell
we,
her?
nah, I ain't tell her. So
You
we
never
leave.
told her.
Nope, nope. So but then when we leave, like it's the establishment is closing,
Right?
when we leaving. So they turned the lights on so now I could see in there or whatever.
Praise
So
God. What
so
an
yeah, right.
original.
So I was able to walk her to the door, then out to her car and whatnot.
And be a
And
gentleman.
yeah, yeah. So and my driver, he had drove the vehicle up. So when I was coming out, he saw me coming, he pulled it up like out front. So she goes, that's your car, that's your driver. And I honestly I said the shit was so damn dark, I didn't even recognize my own car. I was like, I don't even know if that's my car or not, but it,
You
it
know what?
was.
This is one of
Mhm,
those hidden things. Like I swear, like it's
mhm.
comical. We can laugh about it, but this month we're really celebrating like as a practice
Disability. Yeah.
disabilities and physical disabilities and those hidden disabilities. And I think that this is things that like so many people don't think about. And there's others like this is the visual one, and it hits home. It's meaningful for what we're doing now. But I think
Mhm,
about like people who have um like anxiety or depression or other fears and things that's just so hidden. So it's this is I'm so thankful you shared it, even though this is funny. But would you do anything
Well,
differently? Like, would you tell?
well, I don't know because I feel like again, like it ain't the type of thing you want to pass out like as a business card or whatnot. But I'm gonna tell you, the girl discriminated on me, right? Because that night she told me how much of a good night she had and everything, and then the next day or whatever, she sent me a text message and then thanking me for the night. Oh, listen, then she says to me, but the beginning part of this night when I walked up to you, I was standing in front of you for like a minute and you didn't say nothing to me. And
Ah,
she said, why did you do that?
okay.
So I just thought for a minute, and because like I said, I don't like to be revealing all this stuff sometimes. I don't know why, but just my gut instinct tell me not to.
Okay.
So I said to her the truth. I was like, look, I ain't gonna hold you on it. I'm gonna keep it a whole stack, and this is what it is. You know what I mean? So her reaction to that was like, damn. Well, the night I met you was with Rock and her friend.
Right.
She was like, I didn't know something was off with you, and I was like,
Oh,
off. I was
oh.
like, ain't nothing off with me, son. You know what I'm saying?
Labeled it
You
very
feel me? It
yeah.
ain't nothing off with me. I said, but yeah, this is what's up. So anyway, she discriminated on me about
Did.
that.
And
That.
she highlighted why you probably don't tell. It's that stigma, like
Hmm.
that something's wrong with you. Because I see,
Hmm.
like, I have to tell you, you experience the world probably better than most of us. Because I don't always smell things, I don't always hear things, I don't always sense in the same way you do. Because I probably, like most of us, over rely on our vision. But you
Hmm.
are so sensory integrated. And there's a story going around on Instagram right now about two parents who were blinded in later on in their 8 years, and they actually had a child. And the establishment, the doctors, even their family, people who were so against them being parents independently, that they discriminated on them and were really trying to be harsh and take their child away. But now we see that they're able to do so much, and they
Hmm.
don't, just not having their vision isn't the only way they can care for people. So
100%. Hmm.
the stigma around it probably is what it was. And you highlighted it because she said you were off. And I would say the thing I love the most about you is the way you experience the world. Like, I can call you and download for maybe 45 minutes and not let you say one word, and then when I'm finished, you give me the most sage advice. Sometimes you just do, even if I don't like know how to characterize it. You are in action and you know how to do it. So I think that the way you experience the world, the way you respond to people is so beautiful. I would hate, I don't think that there's anything off about you. I think that there's a lot of uh
Well, I appreciate that. I feel like I learned something from your friend Lisa,
uh
who her son Malik or whatnot, when they were doing his celebration of life or whatnot. And she did it as like a superhero thing.
yeah,
You remember that? So
yeah,
that made me think about superheroes for real. And I think like the underlying story, like the backstory for all the superheroes, is they all have disabilities, all of them.
uh,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but truth be told, like their disabilities also is a source of their strength.
yeah.
I could attest to that in a very real way. And I was thinking, when I told my homeboy Rocky about what had happened, because he was pissed off
I
because
hope so. I hope he got rid of
he
her.
was well, he was angry because he was thinking that that was so superficial and shallow on her part.
Yeah,
And but I do understand it though too, because I feel like that's a big responsibility for a person that wants to be significant in your life. And
yeah,
I would tell you that these people who trying to connect to me in that type of way, like I think like they don't even realize it.
yeah,
That's because that part hadn't even been exposed to them yet.
yeah.
But I was gonna say like the one joint that I was really trying with, who Milton and Mom Dukes and all them was saying that had distracting looks and stuff, you know, I give her credit because that never was no issue to her. You
Ah,
feel me? Yeah,
yeah,
so that was one of those things that kind of because I had that one experience before her, you
yeah.
know.
So that's what's
Yeah, so that
endearing
was so
about her.
yeah, that made me, like a virtue that made it stand out to me where she was like, man, ain't nothing. Don't
Yeah,
be worried. Like I do all the driving.
yeah,
You don't have to trip or whatever. I got this, whatnot.
yeah,
I appreciated that.
yeah.
And I think that Rocky, when he was pissed off, he was like, man, you like one of the I don't know, for lack of a better way of putting it, he was like, you like one of the more macho dudes that I know. Like he's
Right,
like,
right,
you like a man's man. And
right.
I don't know why that chick was tripping like that, because like he was like, she don't understand that a bunch of people in the world got night blindness and stuff
Right.
like that.
Well, it's her loss for sure. I think and
Yeah,
I think that this, hopefully, you sharing your story so candidly helps us all kind of recognize we all carry a little bit of something in our back pocket, and that
no
back
doubt.
is overflowing
Hmm.
sometimes. We have come up to our hour, and geez, the hour comes so quick. We normally play a game, but I'm going to save you because I know it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'll save that for the next time. Is there any
Hmm.
final words you want to share?
I always want to show appreciation for everybody that's a part of our life, from the past, the present, and the future people that will be connected with us, and those folks that show us real love and support us or whatnot. I'm about
Absolutely.
to head on an adventure today. I'm gonna get on that bullet train in Japan. I'm gonna go
Take
to this
pictures.
place called Nara Island where it's they got deers out there, like like how we got in the US, but they say these deers are special, like they're more friendly or whatnot. They got a whole place to where you can feed the deer. They supposed to bow to you and all this stuff. So
Oh,
I'm about
wow.
to go on that journey today, just to see what's up with with wildlife.
With wildlife,
I just wanted to salute everybody that
be
that
careful
tunes
because
in.
they might bow to the Japanese, but they ain't seen no black.
Nah, I ain't worried. Hey, the deer is prey animal, and I'm a predator, apex predator.
Well, I'm hoping so, 'cause don't forget your place in that.
Yeah, I'm
Because
top
you
of the
ain't got no
food chain
friends,
on this.
Harpo.
I ain't worried about that.
But Harpo, you ain't got no friends, and some of them may not speak your language. They might not come and help you. So you better be clear about where you are. Well, we hope you have a great trip. We miss you, and I echo those sentiments. Like,
Mm,
be thankful and full of gratitude for those who join us every week. We're gonna be back next week at the same time, same place, same bat channel. Bye for now.
all right, all right. Bye for now.